Here we go. Hopefully this is working. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, my live stream. This is Jacob Cat 2024. While we play Call of Duty Ghosts, play online, we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, WWE, on August 24th, 2026. We're going to do our Raw review. Then we'll talk about the news and rumors. Hit that like button, leave a comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support. Let me know in the comment section below. Y'all want to see more. This will be an hour and 10-minute live stream. This video is sponsored by PlayStation. It's sponsored by my favorite podcasters and YouTubers like Solomon the Sound Off, JD from New York, Fightful Pro Wrestling. Now, I'm not going to play basketball while I'm talking about that, but we're going to play Call of Duty Ghosts. Just want to make sure this is working. Okay, good. So, my live stream is on. It said there was another live stream. Actually, it said there was another live stream that was on earlier, but that got canceled. So, might able to get rid of this. And to focus on that live stream. Okay, so, yeah, so we're going to talk about, now before I play Call of Duty Ghosts, actually, wait a minute, I probably should have turned down the volume. Hold on. I meant to turn down the volume here. Oh wait, the volume is down. Okay, so, well, might as well just play it. I actually want to make sure this is, working. Make sure y'all can hear my, commentary. I just want to make sure. I just want to show you all the podcasters first. Okay, so, now before we go into Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Raw was whatever.
More than big guys usually take. The big guys could take a little bit of a punch or two from the smaller, bouncy guy. We'll put it with Javon Evans, but the big cast was really taking some hits here.
Alright, hold on a second. I actually want to show y'all some of the other podcasters and YouTubers here. Now, before I talk about wrestling, while I play this Call of Duty game.
So obviously he's biting off of Usos and Solo. Usos music hits.
I think the only big thing was the contract sign between Braun Breaker and Obafemi, and then the OTM made their big debut. They aligned with Royce Key. They attacked everybody.
He is,
and then the World Title Tournament,
as good as he's ever been.
Major Angle and NXT team destroy everybody.
City, that's coming up on September 14th. And we had the Lucha Brothers.
You know what? Now let's go into Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw was decent, actually whatever. Now the show opened up with the Usos and LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. The Usos challenged LA Knight and Solo Sikoa in a tag team match that main evented Monday Night Raw. We'll get to that in a minute. We had Stephanie Vacquer versus Roxanne Perez in an okay match. Stephanie got the win. After that, the Judgment Day attacked her. Becky Lynch came out and helped Stephanie take down Roxanne Perez and Judgment Day. Now, the other thing on the show was the tournament finals. Ray Phoenix defeated Dragon Lee to advance into the finals. And Penta defeated El Parca. So next week, it'll be Penta and Ray Phoenix, brother versus brother. Winner will face Roman Reigns in Mexico City for the world title. Looking forward to that. Pretty predictable. I'm determined. Good match, but pretty predictable. I think we all know who's going to win. Now, the other big thing was Obafemi and Braun Breaker maul each other during the contract signing hyping up the big match for next week on Sunday Night Main Event. We also had a backstage segment with Lyra Valkyria threatening Soruka. Lyra still a heel. Soruka's obviously babyface. Now, they did announce that Soruka will challenge for the Women's IC title. She'll face Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's IC title next week. We'll see what happens there. We could see Lyra get involved or something, since they had this interaction on backstage. Also, we had Big Cass. Is it the first time that Big Cass is having a match? Making a match. He wrestled Javon Evans. Big Cass overpowered the high-flying Javon Evans. He beat Evans clean. And after that, Javon Evans got jumped by Dirty Dom and JD McDonough of the Judgment Day. They beat him up. They started feuding. Javon Evans did attack them backstage. So it looks like those two are going to feud for a bit. And then the main event with the Uso, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa. I think the match ended in a DQ or no contest. Royce Keith came back with the OTM. They demolished the Usos, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa. Royce Keith is pretty much a heel. I mean, the Usos, I don't know if they're heel or babyface. LA Knight's a babyface. Solo Sikoa turning babyface. All four of them got jumped by Royce Keith in a new fashion. We didn't see Jacob Fatu after he took out Royce Keith a couple weeks ago. Maybe Fatu taking a week off. We might see him next week. We know that Roman Reigns will be on the show next week. Yes, so we will get that there. Okay, so okay, so let's go into some of the podcasters. We got Denise Salcedo.
Defeat Obafemi. Was Sikoa out there? No. No one had this man's back. He was bleeding out his guts, Sancho. We all remember that visual.
Go ahead.
He was bleeding his guts out, Sancho. Bleeding them out, okay? And no one was out there to help the man. So, what did he do? He went out and he found two new friends with muscle to come out there, link up with him, and go out there and just say F everybody. F the Usos, F LA Knight, F Solo Sikoa, F all these guys. I'm on my own now with these two new friends that I've got. He went out and he found himself someone to have his back. That's the only justification for this.
The timing is weird. That's all.
Why do you feel the timing's weird?
Because we're so busy with everything else. We got Sunday night's main, which is gonna be a Sunday night main event thing, I guess. We have Money in the Bank in October, and then we have War Games, Survivor Series. I said we're too far away from War Games. The one thing I want to point out, though, Denise, I'd rather be confused than trying to figure it out and logically throw it together. I'd rather be like, what's going on? I'm tuning in next week versus I'm disappointed. I'm not tuning in next week. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I liked this though. Honestly, I really did for a couple of reasons. All right, I'm gonna break this down, Sancho, and maybe I'll convince you. Okay.
DX style.
Tell me how you feel after this. All right.
Feel sad no matter what you say, but continue.
On the Royce Keys side, Royce Keys, let's be real, the man wasn't getting very many big reactions. Okay.
Tough as a babyface, yes. Agreed.
Right, like he was out there, he was doing what he can, he was involved in storylines on SmackDown and on Raw, but the world wasn't necessarily moving.
And they tried to sell the sad star, the empathy, the coming from the streets type of thing. Palo Alto, trying to make it from there, from the ground up, yes.
But today, did you notice the fire that he had when he was out there with OTM, and they were all, sort of feeling each other's energy, and you can see that, like, even the way that he was throwing the steel cage and all of the attack, like, the attack it didn't feel bland, it didn't feel vanilla. I felt like there was fireworks in that, and I thought, damn, I kind of saw more of Royce Keys' personality in this one attack segment than I have, like, the entire time, all the way since since he's been here with the company. So for that reason, I like this. And also, I was a little concerned that because Royce Keith wasn't getting the reactions that I think WWE wanted him to, I was afraid that they were sort of gonna forget about him, that they were gonna be like, you know what, he's not getting over, let's give it up, let ship has sailed, right? But the fact that they put in the effort to bring up two people, to make a new group, a new stable, that they haven't given up on Royce Keith, that they still feel like something is there. Aesthetically, too, I love the way all these three guys look together. They all look like they have things in common. I could actually buy that they would hang out together outside of what you see on the TV. And then on top of that, they all have a very similar build body-wise, so physique-wise, they all look good. Now, on the OTM side, though, I was surprised because OTM has not been the hottest thing on NXT. They've been on NXT for a while now, but I wouldn't say that they were some of the top people on the show. Like, yeah, they were there, but let's be real, people weren't really talking about OTM there either. In fact, like 2 weeks ago, though, the most conversation we had was that we thought that they were going to break up, and then suddenly all was good again. So I actually feel like I saw more from OTM in these, 5 or so minutes than I have their entire NXT run. And I was starting to feel bad for them on NXT because I thought, man, everything they do just kind of feels forgettable. And now, this one attack, suddenly I'm like, oh, they've arrived.
Question: do you think, because your experience with AEW, that Royce Keys, AK Powerhouse Hobbs, works better with the faction?
So how do I say this?
He's never been the leader of a faction, though.
No,
that's
because
the difference.
He was there with Joe and all of them, like when they were doing the trios. He was kind of just there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like it wasn't necessarily. He was just there. Like he wasn't the leader. He was just part of the group, right? And then before, when they had him out there with QT, oh, that did not go so well. I actually always felt that he was better off alone. Like alone is when I felt like he got the most over with me. But I think now, as a leader, this is a totally different dynamic, and it might actually work. It might be that thing that helps him put his best foot forward.
I'm just more perplexed by the timing. You got to admit the timing's kind of weird. But I guess that's what they wanted to do to put everybody on notice. As you said, they took out everybody. But I guess, what does that mean for Jacob? Does that mean Jacob didn't protect the Usos? He never does. He never protects Jimmy and Jay. What does that mean with Roman? What does that mean with Royce Keys? Like, does he insert himself into the heavyweight title with this OTM flanking him? I mean, there's so many questions now. And I think, like I said, I'd rather have more questions than more like, oh, I already know the answers going forward and I already know how this plays out. I genuinely don't know how this plays out. I don't think you get like a triple threat at Survivor Series. I would love a traditional elimination Survivor Series with these teams. I think that'd be fun to see. Maybe OTM, go with Royce Keys, and then you keep growing it out. But that'd be interesting. I miss traditional elimination Survivor Series. I think you could tell a better story than War Games, in my opinion.
I prefer War Games. I don't want to do the whole brand shit, like where they do like Team SmackDown.
No, I didn't say Team SmackDown. I just want to see.
I don't know.
I want to see LA Knight at the end of the day stand tall in an elimination format. Because
I'd rather see War Games. All right, I need the spectacle.
The entire time, the goal for this is the baby faces to come out on top, right? Am I wrong?
Sure.
And who are the two baby faces in this whole vortex tornado that just occurred?
Solo and LA Knights.
Right. And why slow down their momentum? That's the one thing I was a little bit upset about as well.
Here's the thing, though, is that, yes, there's momentum there with LA Knight and Solo.
Primarily, You feel the motion?
Yeah, I feel the motion. I feel what they're getting at. But I don't like... I know you were talking about the timing and how it feels weird because it's their moment right now. But that's the thing, though, is that you can do more than one thing. It livens up the program. To me, I like the idea of, oh, hey, I didn't see this coming. Now, all of a sudden, this adds a whole other layer to the story that we're seeing. And it's better because, look, Sancho, I'm not going to lie to you. I laughed in the opening segment. There were some cute moments in the beginning. But the opening promo between LA Knight and Solo Sikoa kind of felt like it was something for a child. And it was cute. It was catchphrases and pew pew, and it's so funny. That's actually my favorite part is the pew pew part. But everything
the most childish part about it, but continue.
yeah, there you go. The most childish part about it. But everything else just felt so generic. And I'm like, where's the juice? Where's the spice? Where's the sugar? Give me something here. Like, I'm chewing on a vegetable right now.
I'm sorry, Denise. Just because you don't like nutmeg, all right? Nutmeg is a secret sauce, and you don't like it, you gotta hate on it, Denise. You're just a hater. You're just a hater.
What are you talking about?
Now you're like, oh,
you're the one hating on OTM and Royce Keys.
You're literally like, oh, look at these 3 guys all oiled up, their body, their physique, they look incredible.
Their physique did look
and you're
incredible.
Like, OTM, here we go. You're jumping on board already.
I'm on board. I liked what they did, Sancho. Look, first impressions mean a whole lot, and I thought the first impression was pretty damn all right.
So what about Street Profits? Where are they?
The Street Profits have not, they've been the exact same characters forever. They need to think of something new. The Street Profits, it's been there, done that. I have been calling for a change for the Street Profits in a really long time. I think, unfortunately, the act has gotten very stale for me. It's the same thing all the time.
I'm curious, does OTM coming over, Royce Keys aside, does that because there is I've seen reports that they're trying to revitalize the tag team division.
As they should.
So, of course, but I wonder if OTM does feel like a big move in that direction. You know, having the Usos wrestle more as a tag team is another move in that direction. The Lucha Brothers finally getting some screen time together, maybe that's another move in that direction. I do feel like we're in the early stages of rebuilding Raw tag team division, considering we have the War Raiders running around the other side with Damian and R-Truth losing. So, and Dominic and JD could be a tag team. So there's options, but I think we're still a long way to go to get the Raw tag team division where we had it. I've said this so many times on my socials. At one point we had the Lucha Brothers, the New Day. We had who else? We had Motor City Machine Guns, and we had the Tongans, all under the one company. You're telling me we cannot get anything going from those guys? Blows my mind.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate, but that's where we're at, though. They still do need a lot more teams, like you said, and I don't know how much we're actually going to get out of OTM, because I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, they're extraordinary wrestlers. I can't really tell you that. I think there's more so about their look and how they come across.
They're that's
more so the selling point.
A hurt business type of situation with Royce Keys being like the MVP type of
No,
character?
because her business can wrestle a lot more.
Okay.
Yeah, OTM's more about the muscle. That's it. But I don't really feel like maybe I forgot, but I don't really feel like I was sitting here on NXT going, damn, they have great matches. I wasn't really thinking that, but they look the part. They look great. Let's see what we get out of it. Maybe I'm underestimating them on that end.
I think you were happy because you're like, yes, Sancho can go full Sancho today.
No, I did not. I'm rooting for you, Sancho. I'm rooting for you. I'm your friend. I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for your happiness.
Nice 2 weeks in a row. You know, I can't have it twice.
We got Sin City Stain here. It says Royce went from uninteresting to interesting. This could be nasty. Also, Bronco getting a shine is a dub. You see what I mean? Sin City Stain here just pointing out exactly what I just said. That Royce Keys went from uninteresting to interesting.
Granted,
right there, baby.
Bronco got kicked out of the Los Perros, so I understand.
Thank you so much to Yoshida Viper, by the way, for all of the love. We got C. Delgado here. It says, even Keith is tired of LA Knight. Instant baby face. I don't tell the people to say this, Sancho. The people are saying this on their own accord. Thank you, C. Delgado. We got CJ here. It says, Avery Styles is in TNA, and I hear has a huge following in the gay community. CJ!
It's classic.
CJ, I gotta read these, man!
It is interesting how Avery Styles is one-for-one carbon copy of his father. Like, it's so fascinating to me when you see Braun Breaker not trying to be like his any kind of family member lineage, and then you have someone like Avery Styles is leaning on into it, almost a splitting image like his father down to his moveset. But
It is fascinating, and then you have Steve Borden, right? Is Sting's son.
Yeah. Oh my
and
gosh.
he's not.
He's not. Yeah.
The dude does look like Superman. He does look like Superman.
His dad. Like, come on. Like, good job, Sting. Like, good job. Seriously, bro.
So Sting.
That. But the second part that I liked, Sancho, was Braun getting into the face of Paul Heyman and saying that Paul Heyman was Oba's daddy and telling him, sign the contract for him, right? All of that was really good. I love the shots that we got to see. We got a mini preview of the physicality between them, and it was good. How'd you feel about this?
I still feel like Braun Breaker is, still in a must-win. Every moment promo matters. I think Oba could, miss a promo here or there because they have more of a runway for Oba Femi's future. I think Braun Breaker's window feels like it's closing, and it has the threat that it could close with a bad impression, a bad promo, a flub of a line, a bad match, or a bad reaction. I feel like Braun Breaker is literally on that cusp. I may be speaking hyperbolically, and I may be overstating what I believe about Braun Breaker, but it just felt like this was a must for Braun Breaker to look equivalent or equal to Oba Femi. I think having Paul Heyman be like that third wheel that Braun Breaker could manipulate into this works really, really well. And I want them to focus on that for Braun Breaker harder and less more about Oba Femi, because eventually everything he says about Oba, he needs to back up in the ring. But anything that he says with Paul Heyman, it could mature either with the win or a loss. Does that make sense?
I get you.
It's like the only safe place to land for Braun Breaker, win or lose. If he loses against Oba, he needs to lean on Paul Heyman in some sort of way. But if he wins, he could push it in the face of Paul Heyman, and then we have more going forward. Because him talking about Oba like, I'm going to make you go swim in the deep end, like Braun Breaker, like Brock Lesnar said, I'm going to make you sleep in the deep end, you're going to realize that your legs, like all that is going to fall on deaf ears because no one's ever been able to do that to Oba Femi, ever. So, is Braun Breaker the first thing to do it? I don't think you could sell me that. If Braun Breaker is going to dismantle Paul Heyman, I could buy that no matter what.
Yeah, see, I was thinking also like the what if scenarios, and I think I kind of saw it a little differently. I saw it as, okay, if Braun Breaker, because Braun Breaker said something during the contract signing, he said that he was going to be the guy that Oba Femi couldn't beat, right? Yeah. And I kind of like that. Now, here's the thing. When you think of Braun Breaker's portfolio, when you think of his stock, the big thing that boosted him was the Brock Lesnar feud and all of that, right? Like, that boosted Oba Femi to a whole nother stratosphere. Braun Breaker, when you think of his stock, what would you put there?
IC title holder, had a great run, lost the title at a very tough Mania, really solid Mania match. Being part of the vision, the OG vision with Seth Rollins was big. Taking out Seth Rollins, that was big. Paul Heyman being in his corner, that was big.
But it's not as big, though, as what Oba Femi has done, though. Right. So that's why part of me wants to see Braun defeat Oba, which I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, Denise, we can't have that. No. But I genuinely think that Braun needs to rise build up his stock, build up his portfolio, and I think getting a win over Oba, and all of a sudden Oba's like, shit, I got too cocky. Damn, I do think that would make the playing field a little bit more interesting, because you're going to be like, oh shit, where do we go from now? Like, what do we do here? And then all of a sudden, Braun, who we were seeing doubt himself, and he was doubting himself, but then today he seemed very confident that he could actually defeat Oba Femi, and it made me want to see that through. It made me want to see him mean what he actually said.
I think what it is, Denise, if you care about the future, Braun Breaker should probably win this one.
You see, because we need more than one guy to be the future.
Exactly.
That's exactly what I'm saying. We got to slack them up. So, anyways, good stuff, man. I'm really excited about it, Sancho. Like, I'm genuinely looking forward to this match.
So you said that segment was 10 out of 10 even though it featured Austin Theory. You're a big fan of Austin Theory. Wow.
You know why? You know
Turn
what
around,
it is?
Austin Theory. You're turning around on Austin Pressure.
No.
Yeah, you are.
I was mad, Sancho. When Austin Theory came out, I was like, get his ass out of here. But when I saw that he was the one who ended up going through the table, I thought, okay, that's clearly why they sent out teasing that a lot more now than they even did Becky and Liv. Like, Becky and Liv hasn't been teased nearly as much as Becky and Stephanie.
Sure, but why kill the momentum of babyface Becky that's been kind of working?
I don't know, because to me, like, when you got Becky and Stephanie, to me, I'm rooting for Stephanie. Like, she's my babyface right there. But Becky with Liv, Becky's the babyface in that dynamic.
I think they truncated a lot here. And they shot themselves in the foot. Because when they had Becky and Liv, I was like,
back? Yeah. And then LA Knight asks Solo if he's got his back. And Solo goes, pew pew, which means yes, yes, I think. Or pew, which means yes. I guess pew means yes, but pew pew. So that was wonderful. That whole segment was pretty fun. Obviously, it just led to a main event tag in the main event, or a tag in the main event, but still funny. If this was any other four guys, I would have... Is this it?
Let's Google search.
The unfortunate privilege of running against him. He playing all of it. Have my back when you didn't. But Jacob Fatu has the past friendship with Royce Keys. What role, might he play in all of this when they eventually come face to face? He was told to stay in the back by Jey Uso. He and Jey Uso do not get along. So he did what he was told. He stayed in the back. He didn't come out to help them or anything, just like he didn't help Roman last week because Roman told him to stand down. So he did what Roman told him to do. So there's a lot of moving parts there. But I like the angle. We'll see where it goes. We'll see as far as whether they end up on the heel side or the babyface side of the equation there. The other thing we had tonight were the final two semifinal round, the only two semifinal round matches in the Lucha tournament to crown a number one contender for Roman Reigns in Mexico City. That's coming up on September 14th. And we had the Lucha Brothers in two different matches. In one match, we had Rey Fenix taking on Dragon Lee, a match I was very much looking forward to seeing. In the other match, we had Penta taking on La Parka. Not the La Parka, the current La Parka. Not the La Parka that I enjoyed seeing many, many years ago. This was apparently the third iteration, we were told, of La Parka. And WWE did the right thing. The match that everybody wanted to see was Rey Fenix against Penta. And it would have been so easy to screw it up just because, we don't want to do that match right now. Right? We're going to save that for some other time. Fuck that. You're going to do this match in the finals of this tournament for a World Heavyweight Championship match. I can think of no bigger place to do it. Rey Fenix, Penta, they're both moving on, and so next week on the show, we are going to get the Lucha Bros divided one-on-one. Only one of them can wrestle Roman Reigns for the championship. Gee, I wonder who that's going to be. But that's the match that I think most of us wanted to see. And tonight, the two matches were good. The Dragon Lee Phoenix match, much better than the Penta and La Parka match. And they let those two go out there and have a great match. They gave them 13 minutes and said, go out there and do your thing. And so I enjoyed that very much. And now that we're going to get that in the final, look, I've enjoyed the tournament. There are matches in the tournament where I'm watching it and I felt like I was watching Lucha in slow motion. I felt like I was watching it at half speed, knowing what some of these guys can go out there and do. And I don't mean they have to just kill themselves, but like some of these matches you're watching them going, okay, this is a Lucha tournament. It doesn't really feel like it. We didn't have that issue tonight, not in the Dragon Lee and Rey Fenix match. So I enjoyed that. And then we also had the contract signing. Big match coming up, Sunday night's main event on September 6th. Oba Femi and Braun Breaker. This whole battle for the future of WWE. Who's the future of WWE? Who gives a shit? We know they're both going to be pushed like the future in WWE. These silly, nonsensical, angles or feuds sometimes in how they... I remember what was the match they did? Where it was for the battle for the future of the business, and not just WWE, but the business in general. I think it was something with Seth Rollins, and I forget who his opponent was, and I'm just like, really? Like, come on. Nobody believed that. But we can believe in this case that these two are going to be the guys that are going to be pushed the heaviest by this company. And when Paul Heyman is out there saying, oh, this is a WrestleMania main event, yeah, you know what? It probably is. It's probably a WrestleMania main event 2 or 3 times over. And when this segment was over, and I enjoyed it, I mean, as contract signings go, I mean, it was exactly what you would normally expect. They didn't do anything out of the ordinary. But when it was over, it was very clear to me who came out on top in the verbal back and forth, the verbal joust between these two, and who came off, honestly, as more of a star. There was no ambiguity about it. It was very clear by the time this was over who the real future and top guy is going to be. So we'll get into all that. There were some other things on the show I didn't really care for, but the key stuff I thought was good. Was good. On the whole, I enjoyed the show. So let's talk about this from start to finish. This is your Monday Night Raw review. It is Monday night, August 24th, 2026. I am the Solomon. Oh, yes, you know, Fern, that's right. Fern said, Seth said something like that for night 1 of the WrestleMania 40 main event as well. Yeah. That's not what I was referring to, but that is another example of that. Yeah. The fate of the business is on the line. Shut the fuck up. Like and subscribe. And I want to say thank you to everybody as well. I noticed a nice little thing to wake up to this morning. The sound off once again. Second time in as many months. Number 1 on the Apple podcast charts for pro wrestling podcasts coming out of this weekend. Back in the top spot. That's all because of you guys. So I thank you for that very, very much. Always nice to wake up to that on a Monday morning. Let's spin this bad boy here, see how many likes we need to do Be the Booker. We had an insane Friday night. If you were here for the SmackDown stream, and that was a big night. We had the WWE Championship match, CM Punk and Kevin Owens. That was a lot of fun on Friday night. We ended up doing 4 rounds of Be the Booker, and the bombs were dropping. So I want to say thank you for that as well. Let's spin this around, find out what we need. What do we need? 350. That should be doable. This stream is for the future of the business. It says mind the gap. What business would that be? I don't know. I'll take your word for it. 350 likes is what we need to do 1 round of Be the Booker guaranteed. All right, let's get into this review here. We're going to start from the very top. They started with highlights from the end of the show last week, the big Bloodline segment where Jey Uso was serving Solo Sikoa to Roman Reigns, who was not here tonight. Fear not, though, because we were told later in the show Roman Reigns is going to return. Another return. Yes, that will take place next week. Actually, that will technically take place on Friday, because Raw will not be live next Monday.
I am the legend.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, Daryl, what's up? Fuck that tree. Death side. Coming in hot with a learning tree. Yeah, we're going to talk about Big Cass, too. He had his first match, finally. He had his first match on TV before Blake Monroe did. And she's been coming a lot longer than he has. So think about that. But yeah, so we had highlights from the end of the show last week. Solo Sikoa spiking Roman Reigns, dapping it up with LA Knight. They left together. So now we come back live, and to open the show, we have LA Knight. Comes out to the ring. He's in the capital city of Canada. They were in Ottawa. Were they in Ottawa? Where the hell were they tonight? No, they weren't. Where the hell were they tonight? I was thinking, my mind is so set. It was Ottawa, right? Okay. I'm thinking of Toronto for some reason. I still have Toronto on the brain from Friday. Anyway, they're in the capital city for Raw tonight. And he's here to talk about a capital C in coward in Roman Reigns. And when he mentions Reigns, it gets a very mixed reaction here from the crowd. And this has happened numerous times before in LA Knight promos where he's trying to tell people that Roman is a fraud. You can't believe anything he says. He's not a good guy. He's a bad guy. And all the shit that he talks about Roman, and the fans usually boo him. And then he comes back with, I don't blame all of you. I understand. I get it. You guys are brainwashed. He's got you all fooled, right? That's usually his take on that. And so here he acknowledges mixed reaction, but I get it. I understand it, right? He's got to toe that line. He can't heel on the fans because he's supposed to be a babyface. But you really should heel on the fans because I don't know why these people would be cheering for Roman anyway. So he accuses Roman of sending every family member that he could after him to keep him away. And he remembers Roman saying that you haven't earned the right to challenge for the championship. You haven't won a battle royal. You haven't won a tournament. And so then all of a sudden we have this tournament that gets created, and lo and behold, LA Knight can't qualify. He's not allowed to qualify for that tournament. So then he brought out Solo Sikoa, and Solo comes out through the crowd, but not like the usual way. He comes out, he's kind of, I don't know where the hell he was. He was on the main level. He's walking through the crowd. Knight's like searching for him. You can hear Solo on the mic in the background, and he's saying, yeah, a few times. And he did the whole let me talk to you line. He was doing his best LA Knight impression. So Solo thanked him for helping him last week. Said after everything that they've been through, Knight could have said no, but instead he said, yeah. So Solo was, he was going to deliver another one of Knight's lines. Knight's cut him off and said, look, I let you get away with 2 of them. He goes, consider this your warning shot. The Usos made their way out, not through the crowd. They made their way through the entrance, spoke from the aisleway. Jimmy said it looked like they had a funny guy in the ring, talking about Solo. He said that Solo probably thought it was funny last week when he went against his own brothers. And when he spiked Roman Reigns, said Solo had consequences coming. So then Jay spoke. Jay did his usual warning shot line. And when he did, Solo did the old Matrix slow motion pose in response, and it was funny because Knight stood kind of behind him, trying to like be there for him in case he fell. And everybody had a nice laugh at this. And Solo at that point pitched a tag team match for the main event later tonight, where it was LA Knight and Solo Sikoa against the Usos. So a very basic opening segment here. Solo Sikoa, though, funny guy that he is, still over as a babyface. People are enjoying it. I don't know how long it's going to last. I don't trust them to not have them turn on Knight and align with his family members. I call it WWE PTSD. I call it whatever you want. I'm enjoying it for now, but the cynical part of me thinks that this is all going to come to an end in the next couple of months, and they're going to turn him right back to a heel, which I think would be fucking insane. Then again, he's got a new t-shirt. If that t-shirt sells well enough, he should be safe for a while. If the t-shirt doesn't sell as well, they might turn him back heel very quickly. We had Stephanie Vicaire, her first match since losing the Women's World Championship to Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. So for the first time in over 4 months, one-on-one here against Roxanne Perez of the Judgment Day. These two were not on the same page at the beginning of this match. There was some clunkiness here. There was one spot where they kind of fell into the ropes. I don't know what the hell happened there. Vicaire went up top when Raquel Rodriguez, who was out there with Liv Morgan, Raquel distracted the referee. Perez then shoved Vicaire to the floor. After a commercial break, Perez hit a cartwheel into a knee drop for a near fall. The crowd, I will say, for this match,
I am the lady.
shut the fuck up. Is the Nexus back? Fuck that tree. The Nexus, this was not at the end of the show tonight. This was don't even sully the name of the Nexus. This was nothing compared to that Nexus angle from 2010. You believe that was 16 years ago? The Nexus invaded Raw 16 years ago. I can still remember where I was that day. I had gone to the observation deck of the Empire State Building, and I remember trying to race home to catch Raw because Raw was a special 3-hour show. Yeah, back then, every now and then you would have a special 3-hour episode of Raw, which actually felt like, oh, it kind of feels special, because they didn't do it every week. So I would race home to make sure I didn't miss a minute of the show. My, how times have changed. Crowd, though, was library silent for this match. They only made noise finally when Stephanie teased doing the Devil's Kiss. That's the only point in this match where they finally woke up and sounded like they gave a shit about anything. Roxanne came back with a crossface. Stephanie fought out of that, hit her package backbreaker, and then headed up top. As Raquel distracted the referee, though, Liv Morgan yanked Stephanie down. That brought out Becky Lynch to her music. She came out to go after Liv. Roxanne whiffed on a springboard moonsault, and Stephanie came back with a double underhook lung blower, and she picked up the win. Which, I mean, her first match back in 4 months, teasing the fact that she was going to be going after the Women's World Championship. There was going to be no other outcome here. After the match, Morgan tried to sneak attack in the ring. Becky stopped her and then dumped her into the timekeeper's area. I didn't think this was much of a match for the first half. It got better as it went along. It's just good to see Stephanie back. She was gone for so many months. We didn't know why, if it was an injury, visa, what's going on. And then on Unreal, if you watch this season of Unreal, in one of the episodes, I think it was the one after she lost the belt to Liv, might have been backstage at WrestleMania the night she lost the championship. She got very emotional. She kind of broke down talking about how she's been going hard for 10 years and her body, she's burned out. She needs some time off. And so it was probably just as simple as she needed a few months off just to heal up and get her body to where it needed to be. And now she's back. And that's great. Her and Becky being back is great for that women's division. Speaking of back, we go to the back after this match. Rey Mysterio was psyching out Rey Fenix for his upcoming tournament match against Dragon Lee when Dominic Mysterio and JD McDonough show up. And Dom was complaining about not being in the loop. And I don't know that moving him to Raw honestly wouldn't be a bad idea right now because he's doing a whole lot of nothing on Friday nights. So that would be the only surprise to me. But them wanting to debut her on 9/14 in Mexico City is not a surprise. And they had trademarked the term Vice City recently. It's for her. And Breaker gets back up. So what we got here was good. I'm looking forward to the match, and I'm looking forward to Bronson Reed being back. Get him back in the mix. Bring some, life back to the Vision. I don't think they need to be in the Vision at all, but if they're not going to disband this group, let's get this guy back. Can we please just, get something going here with these guys? I mean, the Vision is on fucking life support at this point. We go to the back. Jacob Fatu is back there. You could throw his name on that list too. When I was talking about the future and this next phase, this next kind of generation of stars right now, he's definitely right up there with those two. Fatu and the Usos, they're arguing about what happened at the end of the show last week. Because whose shoes will Bronson steal first? I would hope that his theft days are over. I don't think we need to go back to that. The fucking sneakers tied around his neck. They're arguing over the fact that Jacob Fatu stood idly by in the ring last week while the rest of the Bloodline got their asses handed to them by Solo Sikoa and LA Knight. And Fatu said, look, I don't listen to Jay's punk ass. He ran the play just like Roman told him to. Roman told him to stand down, and so that's what he did. So Jay showed off his spiffy new Ufalafa that he has, the black Ulafala that he has around. Than they did tonight, you'll know why. In the back, Solo Sikoa thanked LA Knight for saving him last week. Knight said Solo didn't owe him anything.
The PetSmart app has powerful features to help you care for your pet. We also have Store with human-powered.
Now, Rey Fenix versus Dragon Lee. That was the closest thing.
I'm not gonna we out the mud. Knight and eliminate LA Knight. Roman told him, stop. Roman then belittled him. Roman then spoke down to him. And Roman took care of business. That is until Solo Sikoa and LA Knight took care of the Bloodline and Jacob Fatu didn't lift a finger to help Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns took a BFT, and he just stood there. He did not help the tribal chief. That's going to come back. And that's going to be a major focus going into whatever happens with Roman and LA Knight at Money in the Bank. And it's going to lead Jacob Fatu to ultimately leave the group. It's going to lead Jacob Fatu to ultimately see that Roman Reigns, as the World's Heavyweight Champion, is no different than Roman Reigns, the WWE Champion, at 1,300 days. The tribal chief is still the tribal chief. His attitude is still his attitude. He is a babyface, but he is still the same Roman Reigns that operated and ruled WWE under his iron thumb for 5 years. There's no different, nothing different to Roman Reigns. Jacob Fatu will see this. And the West Coast Oakland connection, the connection that Royce Keys and Jacob Fatu, that was teased on weekly television before, months ago, before we even got to where we are right now. That's going to come full circle. And when Jacob Fatu leaves the bloodline, it will be Jacob Fatu going back to family. The family that was referenced on TV with Royce Keys and Jacob Fatu traveling up the West Coast circuit on the Indies. Their relationship spans 20 years. They traveled together. They worked together. That's all going to come back around. And Jacob Fatu will be the one to lead Royce Keys and OTM. Royce Keys isn't enough to lead a new group. Jacob Fatu leading his own group also opens the door wide open to what the War Games match is going to be at Survivor Series with the Bloodline. Jacob Fatu leading his own group against Roman Reigns, that is a lot better than what we were all coming up with as far as fan theories with LA Knight and Solo Sikoa and a mixture of baby faces. It looks like there's going to be an internal struggle, an internal family war, civil war, with Jacob Fatu leading his own family bloodline, not really a bloodline, but his own family, against Roman and his legitimate bloodline, Roman and his legitimate family. This also opens the door to a possible debut of Zilla Fatu on the main roster. You know WWE is itching to get Zilla on the main roster. Now, the last time we had someone in the bloodline on NXT, it was Solo Sikoa. Solo only lasted 11 months on the main roster. Zilla Fatu is getting an NXT championship match right now. This coming Sunday at Heatwave. He's in a fatal four-way with Grayson Waller, Mike Santana, Cruz Montana. I always get the names. It's so weird not calling him Mike Santana. Cruz Montana. And then my guy Tony D'Angelo. Fatal four-way. Zilla could win. Zilla could be the new NXT champion. Does Zilla need a main roster call-up? I don't think we call him up yet. He's only 26 years old. What is he going to do on the main roster? Get your feet wet. Get situated in NXT. Make your money down there. Make your own name. Why do we need to call Zilla Fatu up to the main roster and leave him on the main roster? Why can't he win the NXT championship and then get called up? We've seen people win the NXT championship and then get called up. Work a match or two. Why not? And you know the connection that Zilla and Jacob Fatu have. They are very close. And they have a lot of similarities as far as their background before pro wrestling, which is something that should absolutely be highlighted when it eventually makes itself to the main roster. I don't know if I'm completely on board. Again, I'm not married to this entire storyline. I feel like WWE is just treading in mud. We see the same thing over and over and over again, and the characters aren't really as interesting as they were in the original version of the Bloodline going into WrestleMania 40.
Oh, what the hell?
But the opportunity for some excitement, the opportunity for something different, the opportunity for some new names is certainly there. So I'm going to give this some time to marinate. But I do think at the end of all this, Jacob Fatu will eventually end up joining Royce Keys, and Jacob Fatu will eventually join up with these guys and lead his own faction, because he's someone that is big enough to lead a faction. His name is big enough to lead a faction. Is a notable name. Royce Keys is not. Royce Keys is nowhere there. So we'll see what happens going into the fall months. Coming out of tonight's show, we got this Heatwave show coming up. We'll see what happens with Zilla Fatu. And then obviously we'll go into the month of September, and then we got Money in the Bank looming. And that's going to be a big night for Roman Reigns and LA Knight as well, and whatever may transpire there. So I thought what they did was good. I am not really up on who OTM are. I pulled up some of their history. We'll go over who OTM are a little bit later on in the show. They were in the main event, like I mentioned, with Royce Keys. Elsewhere on this show, we had a contract signing with Obafemi and Braun Breaker. Obafemi and Braun Breaker, I thought, was very entertaining. Sat down, talked shit to each other. Paul Heyman in the middle of this thing again. Is he for Oba or is he for Braun? I don't know. I would not like Paul Heyman to be involved, and I would like Paul Heyman to not be the middleman of a Braun Breaker-Obafemi feud. But this is what we got to go through to get Obafemi and Braun Breaker, which I am incredibly excited about. This is something I am very much looking forward to. That is the biggest match that's taking place on Sunday night's main event. Can't wait to see what they do. I thought the contract signing was great. You give a microphone to Braun Breaker and you let him cut a promo. You give a microphone to Obafemi, you let him cut a promo on each other, man. I thought it was very entertaining. And then obviously we had the Vision get involved. And Bronson Reed is still not back on television. We all know how Bronson Reed transformed himself into looking like a complete savage. He was just at the WWE Titan Tower in Stamford, Connecticut. He was at the headquarters this week. And the report is that WWE is planning for him to return imminently. He's going to factor right into that almost immediately, whether it's the vision or the future of WWE. And WWE is going to be in no position to keep him benched. He made himself into a superstar in his absence. And WWE is going to look at him and push him to the fucking moon. So we still have that as well. So the future is certainly bright for Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Obafemi, and I'm very much looking forward to that match. And then we had Big Cass in-ring debut after 8 years. I thought he held his own very well against Javon Evans. The theme music, though, oh my goodness, man, the theme music. Is it me? Or did WWE try to go for some weird fucking twisted version of Diesel's old theme music? That's the first thing that I thought of. That's the first thing that I thought of. Some hokey fucking Def Rebel 2026 version of the old school Diesel theme music. Minus the fucking truck horn. And then we had the Lucha tournament. We had La Parka versus Penta. And we had Dragon Lee versus Rey Fenix, man. That Dragon Lee-Rey Fenix match was fucking great. When you talk about best television matches all year anywhere, you're going to talk about Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee. WWE made the right decision. The finals are set, and I'm super excited about what's to come. The only down point is that it's a tape show, and it's going to be very difficult. If you live online and you're a content creator and you work online, it's going to be very difficult to not be spoiled with the results of the finals of this Lucha tournament, the number one contender for Roman Reigns and the World Heavyweight Championship. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, come on.
We're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, which I thought was a decent show tonight. It wasn't groundbreaking. It didn't blow away anybody, but we got a lot of good. We got some bad. We'll talk about it right here on Off the Script. It is your Monday, August 24th 2026. Thank you guys for all the great support, man. You guys have been killing it all August. I was talking to myself today, man. I'm like, holy shit. There's just no content to make videos on. The only thing that would support the show here.
Ready to learn more about Yes2Go? Talk to a healthcare provider to see if Yes2Go...
And you saw LA Knight kind of looking in the crowd. Tremendous stuff. Tremendous. I mean, the guy is as entertaining as anybody else in his family that's currently on television right now. And I was not the biggest Solo Sikoa advocate, but holy shit, man, where has this version of Solo been hiding? Where has this version of Solo been hiding? Crazy. Legitimately crazy. So, a tag team match was made. It's going to be Jimmy and Jay versus LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. That's for the main events. It's, paint by number stuff here in the beginning. WWE starts the show with a promo, sets up the main event match. The main event is consisting of Bloodline members and whoever is battling the Bloodline at this current juncture. Not really the most exciting way to spend 2 hours and then have the show conclude with the Bloodline in another random tag team match. Oh, man. I can't wait. Like we haven't seen that one before. How many times have we seen Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso against LA Knight, man? I'm done. I'm done.
Oh, come on now.
Pew pew. We start things off on Monday night with a returning Roxanne Perez returning Stephanie Vaquer against Roxanne Perez. In Roxanne's corner is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. The Judgment Day. This was Stephanie's first match since losing the Women's World Championship to Liv Morgan at WrestleMania. So this was decent. They were given a lot of time. Do you realize that this match was given almost 2 times more time than Liv and Stephanie got at WrestleMania? It's unbelievable. They got 7 minutes. This went almost 14 minutes. There was actually a lot of pro wrestling on this show, which was a pleasant surprise. Very good. More wrestling on tonight's Raw than I remember in recent weeks. This started a little rough. They tried to do a little chain wrestling here, and it wasn't really all that great. Now, I'm not going to blame it on anybody in particular, but Stephanie's been out for 4 months, so this was her first match back. So obviously there's an adjustments period that needs to be taken. I'm not going to zing them too much. Perez got a near fall on a cradle. Stephanie came back with a cradle of her own. She stretched Perez into a bow and arrow. Old school move. You don't really see that all that often nowadays with the bow and arrow submission. Stephanie goes up top. Raquel is on the apron. She distracted the referee, and Perez shoved Vaquer out to the floor. Perez then throws Stephanie into the barricade on the outside, and we go into our first commercial break. Roxanne is still in control. Cartwheel into a knee for a cover, only a 2 count for Roxy. Perez tried an abdominal stretch submission. So Liv now, it's her turn to taunt and distract. She distracted Vaquer. She fights out of the abdominal stretch, reversed it into a stretch of her own. Stephanie then caught Roxy with a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and a back suplex. And then we go into the slop. That is the Devil's Kiss. Now, I remember WWE making Stephanie basically a one-move merchant before WrestleMania with the Devil's Kiss. That's all WWE thought about Stephanie. Oh, she's the one that does the Devil's Kiss. Great. Fantastic. So she hits the Devil's Kiss. Hopefully we don't get back to making that all about Stephanie and only thing about Stephanie. Devil's Kiss. Stephanie charged into a boot. She no-sold it. She then yanked Roxy out of the corner. Devastating dragon screw leg whip out of the corner. Roxy raked Stephanie's eyes. Shining Wizard. Only a 2 count. Roxy then locked in a crossface. Stephanie fights out. SVB, backbreaker. She climbed up top. I thought she was going to go for the, whatever she calls it, the tornado dive that she does. Rodriguez distracted the ref again. Liv then yanked Stephanie off the top rope down to the mat. All of a sudden, the spiral tap. Now it just came to me before anybody mentions it. The spiral tap. Beautiful. Beautiful move. That should be her finish. I do not like the SVB. I think it's a very fundamental, basic move. A woman like that needs something a little bit more showy. Something with a little bit more oomph. That's her finisher. The spiral tap is fantastic. Though she may only use that move as like a special thing when the moment calls for it. Maybe she only saves it for big matches. I don't know. So Liv yanks Stephanie off the top down to the mat. Becky Lynch comes on out. Her theme music hits. She went after Liv Morgan. Stephanie then kicks Raquel Rodriguez in the face with a super kick. She slides back into the ring. Roxy was already waiting, hits a moonsault on Stephanie. But Stephanie gets up, catches Perez with a double underhook facebuster, and she got the 1, 2, 3. Stephanie Vaquero wins her returning match, as she should. And hopefully Roxanne Perez is going to be an odds-on favorite to win the women's Money in the Bank come October. That's my favorite to win the women's Money in the Bank, right there. Stephanie looked good here. Roxy is someone that I definitely want to see come up and get fast-tracked. I think now, to me personally, I do think that Roxy is being held back by the Judgment Day. But, you know, in stereotypical fashion, Triple H fashion, everything's got to have this long, drawn-out creative. And we're just waiting, hopefully, for Roxy to break out. I do think the Judgment Day is holding her back. Meanwhile, you got a division right now that is going to start to introduce other women. You got Lola Vice, who got a coming soon vignette tonight. So she's coming to Raw, which I thought was definitely Lola going to SmackDown because Damian Priest is over there and they're linked together. They've made their relationship public. Unless Damian Priest is coming over to Monday Night Raw and coming back to Monday Night Raw. I have no idea. But it looks like WWE is going to break that formula of putting couples together on the same show with Lola coming over to Raw. Roxy's being held back. That's a major single star ready to break out. You get her where she needs to be. That's another top-tier in-ring woman on the show. I'd even go out there and say that Raquel Rodriguez is being held back by the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day isn't doing much of anything. They are a shell of their former self on Monday. What have they done? Dominic and J.D. McDonough lost all their appeal and all their credibility when they lost to Danhausen. Or Danhausen, if you're a geek. Dominic has been buried and clearly punished. He's the AAA Mega Champion. He's set to lose that to El Grande Americano come Triple Mania. Roxy loses. Raquel hasn't defended the championship in a few weeks. She just feels like a placeholder champion. And Liv, she finally now, this month, has credible opponents in Stephanie and Becky. The Judgment Day hasn't done much of anything. We got to get Roxy away. That's just the way I see it. Stephanie wins in about 14 minutes. It was all right. Nothing too crazy here. But WWE needs to start heating up Stephanie Vaquero as well. A lot of time lost there, and you got another top-tier woman in the entire company, never mind on Raw. After the match, Liv tried to jump Stephanie. Becky made the save, dumped Liv into the crowd. And Becky and Stephanie continue to tease this, not hatred for one another, but this tension, because both women want the women's championship. Stephanie wants the women's championship and to beat the shit out of Liv Morgan because the Judgment Day, in storyline, put her on the shelf for 4 months. And Becky wants the women's championship because she thinks Liv Morgan is nothing more than a glorified valet. So both want the championships, or both want the championship, but for two different reasons. Speaking of the Judgment Day, Rey Fenix was backstage, and he was talking to Rey Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio showed up, and he complained about not being in the tournament for yet a second week in a row. Now, he's the AAA Mega Champion, but why would he want to be in a tournament that the winner is going to go to the finals and get Roman Reigns to inevitably lose? So I don't really understand why he wants to be featured in a lucha tournament for a match with Roman that no one is going to win coming out of this tournament. It's probably best for Dominic to have missed the tournament. Rey Mysterio actually did his son a favor. He's already been buried enough. We don't need him to be buried any further. So Javon Evans comes out of nowhere, and he absolutely destroys Dominic and JD McDonough. He throws both of them into some production crates, starts yelling at both of them. I don't know where that's going. Javon Evans has already got his hands full with Big Cass. We'll see what happens. Rey Fenix and Dragon Lee. This was a number one contenders tournament semi-final match. The winner of this goes to the finals and meets either Penta or La Parka. Not the La Parka. This is the third iteration of La Parka. This was easily the best match on the night and one of the best matches that you'll see on Monday Night Raw all year. I am so glad that WWE, because coming out of the first round, in my opinion, WWE didn't really make these matches feel special. You know, WWE is not from the main roster audience anyway. It's not really familiar with El Fiscal and Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner Jr. These guys don't really have any equity. They don't have any name value to the main roster audience. They're just another masked luchador, just like a dime a dozen to the audience. Now, we know who they are, but the audience doesn't know who they are. They all look the same. The first round didn't really do anything to get you excited. The second round, when things got a little bit more fleshed out, that's where I was hoping to get a true sense of lucha libre. Let these guys go out there and show the world what they could do. Let these guys go out there and show the world that they are some of the best luchadors in the entire world. WWE gave these guys 14 minutes. Now, I could have watched these guys go another 6. They could have pushed it to 20. I mean, they could have AEW dynamite this fucking match for all I give a shit. This was fucking great. If this was Tony Khan, it would have gotten another 10 minutes easy. But they got 14 minutes, which is a lot for WWE standards. And I thought they fucking killed it. This was the best Rey Fenix has looked since joining the WWE. And honestly, with the ending and the outcome, you could see why there was a little bit more pizzazz. There was a little bit more flair in Rey Fenix's step. He was fucking great tonight. Which boggles my mind how WWE hasn't pushed Rey Fenix just as hard as Penta. Like, we all know Penta's got the charisma, and he's got the entrance, and he's got the better theme music, and he's got a better presentation. WWE didn't do half of what they did for Penta for Rey Fenix. I don't understand it. So we're all wondering, like, why is Rey Fenix, out of both brothers, kind of miscast? Like, they came in as number 1 and 2 in the world as top luchadors in the entire wrestling industry.
What the hell?
Highly sought after. One of the greatest tag teams of the modern era. And one succeeded and the other is still trying to find his footing. And I don't really understand why WWE all of a sudden now is featuring Rey Fenix on TV. He wins the AAA Cruiserweight Championship. He's had like 6 or 7 defenses. He's defended. Half of those defenses have been on SmackDown. You couldn't find television time for Rey Fenix without the Cruiserweight Championship. But as soon as he won the Cruiserweight Championship, he's holding another promotion's belt, and that gets him television time. I don't understand it. Outside of all the criticisms, I thought this was his best match to date in WWE. Dragon Lee is also another one. Phenomenal. He is unbelievable. So the fact that these guys got 14 minutes to showcase what they can do was a beautiful, beautiful thing. So kudos to WWE for allowing these guys to go out there and showcase what they can do. Excellent stuff. So we'll pick it up after the commercial break. Dragon Lee dumped Phoenix with a German suplex. Phoenix is on the outside. Dragon Lee, tope con hilo. Right into a commercial. We come back after the commercial. Dragon Lee and Phoenix, they're exchanging knife-edge chops in the middle of the ring. Lee takes out Phoenix with a sit-out powerbomb. He goes for a cover. He gets a 2 count. Dragon Lee charged into a super kick. Phoenix up top, moonsaults, goes for a cover. Again, a 2 count. He quickly follows that up with a powerbomb and another cover and another 2 count.
What the?
So Dragon Lee's trying to climb the ropes. Phoenix caught Lee with a palm strike as he's climbing up top. Phoenix tried a top rope Hurricane Rana, and then he winds up in a tree of woe. Dragon Lee positions him down, double foot stomp in the tree of woe. Phoenix countered after that with a suplex into a small package for 2. Dragon Lee then set Phoenix out to the floor after a big super kick. Lee followed, and Phoenix sent him into the announce table. So Dragon Lee dropped Phoenix on the table. He goes back into the ring. And man, I tell you, his suicide dive. We see some people do suicide dives, and my opinion on those suicide dives are they are a dime a dozen. They're all the same. Samoa Joe's got a great suicide dive that is a legit match changer. I mean, 300-pound Samoan flying at you with a suicide dive. I mean, that's a devastating move. Darby Allin does a great suicide dive. Not a big Darby Allin fan, but he does a great suicide dive. He throws all his fucking body weight at you. It's like he shot out of a fucking cannon. Everybody else that does it is just a dime a dozen. But Dragon Lee may have the best suicide dive in all of pro wrestling. He legitimately launches himself so fucking far, he reaches the announce desk and cannonballs through the rope with a fucking speed that is just unheard of. Takes out Rey Fenix with a cannonball dive through the ropes all the way to the announce desk. Now, we've seen him do this before, but it's just fucking unbelievable when he does it. We go back in the ring. Dragon Lee, it's a tornado DDT. 2 count. Dragon Lee went for his Operation Dragon. Phoenix countered, it's a brainbuster. Phoenix tried for a Mexican muscle buster. Dragon Lee countered, Styles Clash. I thought that was it. I thought after the Styles Clash it was over. I thought Dragon Lee was going to the finals. Rey Fenix survives. He kicks out. Rey Fenix comes back. Rolling cutter. 2.5. Phoenix then catches Lee with an enziguri. Super kick. Then pulled Lee out of the corner. Mexican muscle buster. 1, 2, 3. And Rey Fenix is going to the finals. Fucking great match. Fucking great match. Love it. They killed it. One of the best Monday Night Raw matches you'll see all year. And finally, the tournament starts to feel important. The way that these guys wrestled made the win feel important. The way that these guys wrestled means that the prize at the end of the tunnel, whether it's a guaranteed loss or not, it doesn't matter. They both desperately wanted to be in the ring in the finals for a shot to wrestle Roman Reigns. You felt it was on the line, even though you knew it was on the line. They made you feel how important it was. Fucking great. Loved it. We got a vignette, and I mentioned this before, I'll mention it again, a vignette airing for Lola Vice. It was clearly Lola because, A, she shook her hips So you know it's Lola. B, they showed someone kickboxing, clearly Lola. And then it was like a Miami Vice City type vibe. Again, for Lola. And then, even in the colors of Vice City, 9/14 at the end of the vignette, which is Raw in Mexico City. So Lola is debuting on that Monday night. And I think that's a great spot, being that she's worked in AAA, and she's had some time in AAA and working in Mexico, teaming with Mr. Iguana. WWE thinks it's the best to debut her there. So Lola is coming to Raw. Now, what does that mean for Damian Priest? Either WWE's moving Priest to Monday Night Raw, which, I mean, at this juncture would not be the worst move for Damian Priest, honestly. I don't know what he's going to do on Friday night. I mean, they have wrung that sponge out on Friday night. And honestly, he's a former world champion. He could be placed in something new and something fresh on Monday. Knowing them, they'll probably throw him right back to the fucking Judgment Day garbage. But I think a move. There's a couple of moves I would make to Monday night. Priest would be one of them. Carmelo Hayes would be another. And Julia would be another. I would move Hayes, Julia, and Priest over to Monday. SmackDown right now is 2 hours. By default, Raw needs more talent because they are the longer show. They go anywhere between 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes every week. Plus, the show's starting to feel samey. We need some new talent. And one of the most glaring issues on Monday is the fact that the main event scene isn't really all that big. You got Roman, and when he's not there, you don't really get a sense that anybody's truly main event level status on the same page as Roman Reigns. On SmackDown, you got 8 or 9 different fucking guys. So it's either that they're moving Priest over to Monday Night Raw, or WWE's ending the narrative that couples need to be on the same brand with one another. Otherwise, she'd be moving to SmackDown. See what happens. Obafemi. He sits down with Braun Breaker. Contract signing for Sunday night's main event. A match I am absolutely looking forward to more than anything WWE has done this year. Outside of Reigns and Punk, I would say. Punk and Cody too, but that disappointed me. I don't feel like we are going to get disappointed by this match. Especially on Peacock, where a lot of fans tend to think the Peacock special events come off a lot better than the ESPN special events. Which, by the way, ESPN is raising their prices from $29.99 to, I think, $31.99 per month. So we're paying more, or you guys are paying more, and the quality remains unchanged. Now we're paying $2 or $3 more for those same 5-match PLEs. Then you want to know why people pirate. Arr! Ahoy, matey! Then you want to know why people use VPNs and opt to pay less. Because the prices are ridiculous and the quality's worse. Contract signing. Adam Pearce is in the ring. All right. Now it's time to put ink to paper for the match. Some say will determine the future of WWE at Sunday night's main event. Out comes Obafemi. Paul Heyman is in the ring with him. He's in the ring with Adam Pearce, not Obafemi. And Braun Breaker is there. They're sitting at the ends of the contract table. Paul Heyman does his ladies and gentlemen spiel. With all due respect, Mr. Femi, there is no vision for the future without including the phrase, fear the spear. He introduces the hardest hitting athlete in all of WWE, Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker sitting down and says, "Who the hell do you think you are? Honestly, who do you think you are coming out here and claiming yourself to be the future as if you earned it? Well, I don't know. I mean, I love Braun Breaker, but that's not really the wisest of statements. He beat Brock Lesnar twice. One of them at WrestleMania. I mean, does Oba deserve that statement? Does he deserve the moniker of future of WWE? I mean, unless Braun Breaker beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, I don't know what his complaint is. You beat Brock, okay. You won King of the Ring, okay. You squashed a bunch of people. Those all sound like great opportunities, but none of them sound like championships. Now, do they? You see, 8 months ago, before you showed up, I had WWE in the palm of my hand. I had this place under control. I was the future, no doubt. They chanted my name every week, just like they chant yours. They bark in every town we go to, just like you. And then I got hurt. I took myself out, because let's face it, nobody, there's not one man back there enough to take me out, including you. And then what happened? You weasel your way into my spot and my opportunities and get handed everything. This mountain that apparently no one can climb, that you speak of. You were born at the top of it, Oba. Don't fool yourself. You were in that position because I was hurt. And that's it. It's that simple. And I'm back here to rightfully claim what belongs to me. So Oba Femi speaks. Braun, you're an angry orange man. Why are you so angry? Okay, let me explain something to you. Because I get the impression that you are so frustrated. Because you believe that I don't rate you. That I underestimate you. I don't. And right now, to your face, I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about you. I think that if you debuted in 2002 and ran against John Cena, you will be the face in the future of this place. I also think that if you broke into the business in 2015 and ran against whoever the big dog, wink wink, was back then, you would be the face and the future. But Brownie Boy, this is 2026, and you have the unfortunate privilege of running against me. And this is the part of the equation where the mathematics stop making sense to you. Good that good old Steiner math, huh? He says the mathematics stop making sense to you. Because you cannot understand that because I exist, your chances of being the face of this place have drastically gone down. The dogs are barking, Braun. They're barking, woof woof. But they're barking off the wrong tree. You've outclassed, or you've been outclassed on every level. And on Sunday night's main event, I will show you that I am the ruler. I am the destroyer. I am the bringer of war. The future. Oba Femi. Braun Breaker then says, you know, this is all really funny, man. I love it. I love the fact that they chant your name every week and they do the strut with you. I love it, man. I love the fact that everybody in the entire world loves you, counting me out, thinking you're going to roll over me. Like this is any other Oba Femi match, right? I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen to you so you can get home and prepare yourself for what's coming. I'm going to force you to fight me in deep waters. I'm going to take you out there like he's fucking Jaws. You're going to get tired. Your lungs ain't going to have air in them. Your legs are going to go. You're going to be a sorry wrestler in the middle of this ring who thought that he can compete with a real dog like me. And you may cast a big shadow with your entrance out here in the arena with these people. But in this ring, this squared circle, I'm gonna own you. And you will spend the rest of your career living in my shadow. You're the ruler, the bringer of war, the guy, the future. Well, I'm Braun Breaker, the guy that Oba Femi cannot be. Braun Breaker then signs the contract. All right. Let's get Oba to sign it, says Adam Pearce. Then Braun Breaker looks at Paul Heyman. You want to sign this? Or should your daddy do it for you? Paul Heyman, off microphone, but you hear everything he says. That ain't funny. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Go ahead and sign it, Paul. Sign it for him, says Braun. You've been walking around the last couple weeks like you represent him, like you're his guy. You want nothing to do with me. Brock shows up, I take it back. See, go ahead. Sign it. Sign it for him. So, I don't know if he's legitimately angry at Paul Heyman or just used this as a sucker punch ploy, but he punched Oba. Oba grabs Braun by the throat. I thought he was going to chokeslam him right there through the table. Braun and Oba are trading shots back and forth. Austin Theory attacks Oba from behind. Oba then sets his sights on Theory. Braun clotheslines Oba. The Vision then start a 2-on-1 on Oba. Braun goes for the spear. Oba blocks it with the big boot. Oba clotheslines Braun big time over the top rope. And then Oba does the Oba toss, or the pizza toss, to Austin Theory, and he throws Austin Theory right through the contract table. He then signs the contract. This is exactly how I will have you come the 6th. Sunday night's main event. You're running away, and you're running away from me. And he throws the contract to Braun Breaker. I thought this was great. Contract signings are usually very generic and very boring. Same old shit. Every one of them is the same old shit. Someone gets attacked, someone goes through a table, whatever. But I like this. I saw some people complaining online, look at these guys. They're signing the contracts for a match when nothing's on the line. Oh, great. Great. You know, your precious AEW would be better off if they actually had some WWE isms to them. We don't need a championship to be on the line for contract signing. This is a big enough match where contract signing makes sense. And they've already been warned not to get in the ring with each other. And Paul Heyman mentioned it last week. We don't do it in rinky-dink cities. A match like this needs a contract to be signed. A match like this needs to wait. We don't do this here. Big matches get contract signings. I thought this was great stuff. Usos. They run into Jacob Fatu backstage. Jacob pokes fun at the Usos getting embarrassed by LA Knight and Solo.
Oh, so he wasn't the show.
Well, I mean, I won't put it that way. I mean, he's got a lot of nerve saying that to his family. I mean, he was also embarrassed last week, too. Roman spoke down to him like a bitch. He's telling these guys off. Meanwhile, Roman treated him like a little bitch last week. So, Jimmy says that after what happened last week, Jacob should stay back, chill out, because Big Jim and the Heat Man have a play to run tonight. Jay asks Jacob if he wants to be active tonight. Is he ready to fight with his scary ass not doing anything last week? Shut your ass up, Jay. Shut your bitch ass up. HOTC told me to stay down, and that's exactly what I did. How many times do we have to go over this? I don't listen to Jay or Jimmy. And he sure as hell don't take orders from Jay's punk ass. When the OTC tells Jacob to run a play, that's exactly what he's going to do. Jay flaunts the black Ulafala that Roman gifted him last week.
So Jacob Fatu was in the show tonight.
You know what this is? That
Yeah,
means we're now promoted as captains. Jay then tells Jacob to stand in the back and do nothing. Oh, Jacob Fatu is not going to take this much longer. We got a one-on-one match. Big Cass and Javon Evans. One-on-one. This is Big Cass's in-ring debut on Raw. First match In 8 years for Big Cass. Good for him. He looks great. Obviously, WWE sees a lot of upside in Big Cass. They gave him a big entrance. And they gave him an actual entrance to get across the presentation. So that's what they did here. I thought this was fine. This went 9 minutes. I thought Cass looked good. The only downside to this is Javon Evans. I mean, you're putting him in a lose-lose situation. You can't have Big Cass lose his debut match, or his first match after 8 years. But at the same time, I mean, why does Javon Evans need to lose? I understand that there needs to be a winner and a loser. And Javon Evans is really getting over. But why put a stop to that? You should continue building that up. I don't know what Big Cass... I mean, theoretically now, you look at this, it's all over for Big Cass and Javon Evans. He beat him right in the center of the ring. What else is there for Big Cass to prove to Javon Evans? Now he moves on to the next victim. Cass comes out, he's got another match, and the winner gets to face Raquel next week. Sol says that if Lyra wants another title shot, this is his legacy. Pierce tells Gable that he's going to go work on finding him a new challenger to further solidify his legacy. As Gable turned around, Ethan Page finally reemerges on Monday night. Page wanted to say congratulations to Gable for all the success as of late, but more importantly, defeating Rey Mysterio. You know who else defeated Rey Mysterio and has their eyes on the token of excellence that is the Intercontinental Championship that you're holding over your shoulder, Gable? All ego, Ethan Page. Now, we can all agree that Page has earned an opportunity at the IC Championship. At the same time, Page makes the claim that Gable is intimidated by him. Page is not allowing Gable to respond at all, and he's playing off as if he's the one continuously getting interrupted by Gable. So Ethan Page understands Gable wants to make his schedule lighter by offering title shots to washed-up Hall of Famers because he doesn't want to step in the ring with someone as amazing as all ego Ethan Page. And Page says that the IC champion will find him one way or another. Gable reminds Page that he did have the same opportunity to become the Intercontinental Champion. They were in the same gauntlet match. You were the one who tapped out to me. He just ended him right there. Gable says that Page was on top of the list of guys that he wanted to give title shots to. But he continues to run his mouth, and the verbal garbage that keeps falling out of his mouth, he's now talked himself out of a title opportunity, and Gable's going to go find someone else to defend the title against. Congratulations. You should really be proud of yourself. I don't know who else Gable defended the title against, but I can tell you that the guy he loses the title to will eventually be Ethan Page. That's where Ethan Page is going. Good to see him back on Raw. Next week, Penta battles Rey Fenix in the finals of the World Title Tournament. Roman Reigns returns again. Every Roman Reigns appearance, Roman Reigns returns. Where the fuck did he go that he's returning? Raquel Rodriguez also defends the IC title against Sol Ruca. Jackie Redmond. She was backstage with Stephanie Vaquer. In 2 weeks on Raw, Stephanie will finally get her rematch for the Women's World Championship. Once again, Liv showed her that she needed her 2 pets to try and take her down.
Well, might we'll just end the video until I just want to say hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, thank you for all the support. Let me know in the comment section y'all want to see more. Now I will now SmackDown review will be this Friday. That's when I will talk about SmackDown while I play Call of Duty Ghosts. And after that, maybe I'll play Advanced Warfare and show y'all multiplayer on that. But yeah, hit that like button, leave a comment, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, thank you for all the support. Until next time, I'll see y'all later. Gonna end the video here. Actually, wait a minute. Well, since we're at the main event, Judy from New York is almost done here.
LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and the Usos. Tag team match. Not really the most exciting main event to end a Monday Night Raw, but here we are. Typical bloodline slop in the main event segment of the show. So we'll pick it up after the commercial break because if you've seen one Jay and Jimmy tag team match against LA Knight, you've seen them all. So after the break, Jay hits an enziguri on Solo and choked him against the ropes. Jimmy followed up with a drive-by. So now he's stealing Roman Reigns moves. Solo backdrop Jimmy to the floor. Jay cuts him off from getting the hot tag to LA Knight. Solo eventually takes out Jay, gets the hot tag to LA Knight. LA Knight comes in, starts beating up Jimmy with some jabs, big hangman's neck breaker. Jay got a roll-up off a distraction for a 2 count. He then went for the Samoan drop, but LA Knight countered with an inverted DDT for a near fall. LA Knight goes off the top rope with his jumping elbow drop, connects it, gets a 2 count. Jay went for a dive on Solo. Solo cuts him off. Jay eventually hits him with a super kick. Out of nowhere, Royce Keys, wearing a mask, a face covering, runs through the ring and takes Jay and Solo out with a double spear. Then we see 2 masked men dressed in all black wearing the same face covering as Royce Keys, and they jumped LA Knight and Jimmy Uso in the ring. OTM from NXT makes their main roster debut. Bronco Nima and Lucien Price from AAA NXT. And apparently the running storyline here is they are friends of Royce Keys. OTM dumped LA Knight with a double team finish, which I'm assuming is their finish. It almost looked like a double angle slam. And then they both fed Jimmy to Royce Keys off of an assisted spinebuster. That was not all. They absolutely demolished the rest of these guys. So Bronco Nima hits a running foot stomp on LA Knight. Lucien Price hits a side slam on Jimmy. Keys said that Solo and Knight didn't have his back as he's yelling at both of them on the outside. So Royce goes after and attacks Solo. LA Knight and the Usos with steel stairs. OTM puts Jimmy through the announce table with a double crucifix powerbomb. Royce and OTM stand tall as the show goes off the air. Did Triple H, in some weird, twisted dimension, think that this was, like, a revisiting of, like, The Shield? Did you guys get that vibe? Did you guys get that same kind of correlation to what he was possibly going for here? They all come out wearing their silly masks, and they beat up these guys, and they tear around the ringside area.
It kind of reminded me of Retribution.
Powerbomb through the table. It's like some makeshift Oakland version of the Shield. I mean, that's fine. Who's OTM? OTM stands for Out the Mud. Is that OTM, says Michael Cole? They spent 3 years on NXT television. 3 years on NXT television. They were aligned with Scripps. If you guys remember him, Reggie, the former Reggie. They were tied to Jada Parker as well when this might have been early on in their run. Now Jada's great. I love Jada. So they've officially formed this new heel stable. So prior to his injury, like the storyline said, Michael Cole and Corey Graves went over tonight. Royce Keys was a babyface who teamed with Solo and LA Knight. And then he was brutally taken out in a street fight by Jacob Fatu and the Bloodline earlier this month. And he was stretchered out and off television for several weeks. He returned to Raw. He was enraged at what happened. He took his frustrations out on LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. He turned heel. He abandoned his former allies. who he teamed with at SummerSlam to beat the Bloodline in a 6-man tag, and brought out Bronco Nima and Lucien Price. They are his hired muscle. So they took out the Bloodline and they took out LA Knight and Solo Sikoa. WWE is integrating the Oakland connection into the on-screen story. This is their real-world background. So apparently, Michael Cole noted that Royce Keys and Bronco Nima grew up together in Oakland, and because of this shared upbringing in the Oakland area, he's reached back into his roots to pull Nima and Price out of NXT and bring them to the main roster. They are now his personal enforcers. Like I mentioned in the beginning, Royce Keys is not big enough as a WWE superstar. He's not over anywhere near where he needs to be to lead a faction of unknown talents in NXT that, I mean, if you put them in a lineup and ask the casual fan, name these two guys, I guarantee you a good 80% of the audience are going to reply with, who?
Exactly. What Keith not over?
I mean, I didn't even know who the fuck they were.
Me neither.
Now, I've made it apparent that I don't watch NXT because I think the writing is fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
But now that Zilla's there, I'm going to be paying a little bit more of a closer attention to it. I mean, I'm not excited about Bronco Nima and Lucien Price on on WWE main roster television.
Yeah.
Royce Keys is not built up enough to lead a faction, which is why I said, eventually, Jacob Fatu will be the next family member to leave the bloodline. And he will be leading whatever this faction, whatever their name is, on WWE television. It will be Jacob Fatu, Royce Keys, and these two guys, OTM, Bronco Nima and Lucien Price. They will be battling the bloodline. Whatever makeup of the bloodline still exists. I don't know. I genuinely don't know where we're going into Survivor Series, but you know it's going to include the bloodline in some way. Royce Keys isn't big enough to lead his own faction, which is why Jacob Fatu is going to fit. Yeah, the Oak Line. The bloodline versus the Oak Line, yeah. Exactly what it needs to be. I will say, I'm not sure how good of a tag team they are. We do get another tag team in the division. I mean, we're gonna need at least 6 or 7 more teams to actually call it a fucking division. I mean, there are no teams on Monday. These guys got no equity built up on the main roster. There's no value in them yet. Nobody knows who they are. We do get another tag team on the main roster. And what I like most about this, outside of the potential of Jacob Fatu leaving the bloodline and joining his roots, his Oakland connection, I feel like Royce Keys as a babyface was fucking forced. Genuinely. It shows you how miscast Royce Keys was when he first got to WWE. They tried to build him up. They waited and waited and waited, and they built him up to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as if that does anything for anybody's fucking career.
Exactly.
It doesn't. They forced him as a babyface. Oh, it's his name is a take on something that's significant to his family, something to do with his son, I believe. They tried to show these vignettes, these sympathetic vignettes about where he grew up and how it was hard for him growing up and the struggle he had to become a professional wrestler. I mean, bro, give me a break. Give me a break. Like, people see right through that. I now think, and this is the biggest positive out of all, outside of the Jacob Fatu possible connection, Royce Keys is exactly cast now the way he should have been cast when he first got here. Maybe WWE couldn't do that. They couldn't just throw him into a faction with these guys and obviously had to wait. They included him because of his connections with Jacob Fatu. But he's now playing a role, and he's now cast in a role that's going to allow him to show us who he really is. Going into those roots, going into that background, and being more of himself on WWE TV. That is the best kind of character. WWE's got this thing where they try and force someone to be something they are not. Now Royce Keys is going to be playing the character that we all know he is. Exactly what you got tonight, with his background and his upbringing and that Oakland connection, that street vibe. That's exactly what he needs to be doing. So that's a big positive. He's not miscast anymore. We're gonna see how this goes, man. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do. I feel like with WWE, when they introduce a new team like this and new characters, and they pair them off with someone like Royce Keys, you would think that there's a lot of potential for that. I don't know. I'm not big on these guys just simply because I don't know who they are or how they operate. And Royce Keys I wasn't really all that big on to begin with. So, we will see what happens, and obviously it's going to be leading into War Games.
Yeah. Well,
thank you guys very much
we
for all
end
your
the video
support.
here.
I really appreciate you all joining me here tonight on this